The quiet work you do today will change your entire future. Sit down. Put your phone face down. What I'm about to tell you is not going to feel exciting while I'm saying it. And that's exactly the point. Because the thing that's about to change your life is not exciting either. It's quiet. It's boring. It's the thing you've been skipping for months, maybe years, telling yourself you'll get to it once things calm down. And if you leave this speech in the next 30 seconds, you'll go back to doing what you've always done. And in 5 years, you'll be exactly where you are right now, just 5 years older, 5 years more frustrated, and 5 years further from the version of yourself you keep meaning to become. But if you stay, if you let the next few minutes work on you the way water works on stone, not with force but with time, something in you is going to shift tonight that no amount of motivation ever shifted before. So don't go anywhere, because what I'm going to give you isn't hype. It's the 6 quiet truths that separate the people who talk about a different life from the people who are actually living one. 1. Nobody claps for you at 6 in the morning. There's no audience in the dark kitchen while the coffee machine sputters and you sit down to work before the world has even opened its eyes. No one is filming the moment you close the laptop instead of opening it one more time to check something that could easily wait until tomorrow. No one records the version of you that chooses the harder right thing over the easier wrong thing when there is absolutely no chance, none, of ever being caught either way. And because no one is watching, most people quietly lower the bar. They save their best effort for the moment somebody might notice. The presentation, the interview, the one day the boss happens to walk by. But you have to understand something most people never figure out in time to use it. Your future isn't being built in the moments people are watching. It's being built in the 10,000 moments nobody is. The gym at 5 a.m. doesn't care whether you felt inspired walking in, whether your knees ached, whether you almost hit snooze 3 times before your feet finally hit the cold floor. The page you wrote when you didn't feel like writing doesn't care that you almost didn't. Neither one asks for your mood. They just quietly add themselves to the pile, next to yesterday's page and the day before that, and the 1,100 forgettable days before that. Until one day the pile is so tall, it looks like a mountain to everyone standing outside it. And they call it talent or luck or a lucky break you happen to catch. You'll know better. You'll know it wasn't luck. It was Tuesday. It was Wednesday. It was a February morning with ice on the windshield and every reasonable excuse available, and you showed up anyway, for no audience, for no applause, for no reason you could have explained out loud without sounding a little ridiculous. That's the whole secret hiding in plain sight, the one nobody wants because it isn't glamorous. The work that changes your life is almost always the work no one will ever clap for. 2. Intensity is a trap dressed up as ambition. Most people get this one backwards. They think the answer is intensity, one massive push, one all-nighter, one heroic burst of effort so big it fixes everything at once. It feels right because it feels dramatic, and drama feels like progress even when it isn't. But it isn't. And it never has been. One brutal workout doesn't build a body. One late night doesn't build a career. One good day doesn't undo 3 years of small neglect. And one great effort doesn't replace what steady, unremarkable effort was supposed to build all along, brick by brick, week by uneventful week. Here's the quiet math nobody wants to sit with. A little bit, done consistently, will always beat a lot, done occasionally, always. Not sometimes, always. Because consistency compounds and intensity burns out. The person doing 20 minutes a day for a year will pass the person doing 3 exhausting hours once a month, every single time. Because the daily person is still standing long after the sprinter has already quit and stopped answering their own alarm. Intensity asks for a single moment of you. Consistency asks for a version of you that keeps showing up long after the moment has passed, on days that don't feel like anything is happening at all. And that is a much harder, much rarer thing to give. So stop hunting for a better plan. You probably already have a perfectly good one sitting in a notes app somewhere. Abandoned 3 days in, sandwiched between a grocery list and a half-finished idea for a birthday gift. What you actually need is a smaller plan. Small enough that skipping it feels obviously wrong. Small enough you can still keep it on your worst day, not just your best one. Discipline, kept small and kept daily, weighs almost nothing. But the regret of another year spent waiting for the big heroic moment that never came, that weighs a ton and you carry it a long time, usually longer than the effort would have ever cost you. The gap between the life you have and the life you want was never one giant leap away. It's a stack of small, unglamorous repetitions, laid down in silence, and most people simply run out of patience before the stack gets tall enough to matter, usually just a few weeks before it would have. 3. Your habits are a letter you're writing to a person who has no say in the matter. Your habits are a letter you're writing to your future self, and whether you like it or not, that person is going to have to live inside whatever you write today. Every choice you make, the one at 7 in the morning, the one at 11 at night, the one nobody else will ever hear about because it happened entirely inside your own head, is a vote. Not a suggestion, not a mood, a vote for the specific person you are slowly, quietly becoming, one small ballot at a time. And here's the part almost everyone misses. There is no neutral ballot. Skip the vote today. Tell yourself it's just one day and you haven't stayed the same. You've cast a vote anyway, just for the version of you that's learning it's acceptable to skip. Think about what that actually means. Somewhere out ahead of you is a person who is going to open their eyes tomorrow morning and inherit everything you decided tonight. Your energy, your debts, your skills, your excuses, your discipline, or the total absence of it. That person didn't get a say in what you chose today. They just have to live inside it, the way you're currently living inside every choice the you of 3 years ago made without asking your permission first. So the real question was never, what do I feel like doing right now? The real question is, what does the person I'm building tonight actually need from me? And those are two completely different questions, and only one of them ever builds anything worth having. There's no such thing as a day that simply didn't count. There's only a day you counted on purpose and a day you quietly let slip telling yourself it was too small to matter, too ordinary to be the day that mattered. But your future self isn't waiting on a miracle, a windfall, or a better mood next Monday. He's waiting to see what you actually do tonight at the hour when no one is checking, when it would be so easy to pretend it doesn't count, and when in truth it counts more than almost anything else you'll do all week. 4. The work you're avoiding is quiet on purpose. This one stings a little, so let it. The work you keep avoiding is quiet on purpose. It doesn't shout. It doesn't interrupt your afternoon. It doesn't send you a calendar reminder that says, deal with me or else. The overdue conversation you keep rehearsing in the shower, but never actually having. The skill you keep meaning to learn and keep almost starting. 3 tabs open, nothing finished. The number on your account you keep not quite looking at, scrolling past it like it might change if you don't. None of it is going to reach out and force your hand. It's just going to sit there patiently, getting slightly heavier every single day you leave it alone. The way a single unopened letter on the counter somehow gets harder to open the longer it sits there. And that's the trap. Silence gets mistaken for permission. Because nothing bad happened today from ignoring it, the mind quietly concludes nothing bad is happening at all. But a problem that isn't loud yet is not a problem that isn't growing. It's just one that hasn't sent its bill yet. Debt doesn't announce itself until the interest is unbearable. A strained relationship doesn't announce itself until the silence between two people becomes permanent and nobody remembers who stopped calling first. A body that's been neglected doesn't announce itself until it simply stops cooperating, usually at the worst possible moment, usually with no warning that would have felt like a warning at the time. By the time these things finally get loud, you're no longer managing them. You're just reacting to them, and reacting is always more expensive than tending. Here's the part that should actually give you hope if you let it. Your effort works exactly the same way, in the exact same darkness. It also doesn't announce itself. The extra 20 minutes of practice doesn't ring a bell. The disciplined choice at dinner doesn't post a receipt anywhere you'll see it. It just compounds silently in your favor instead of against you at the same patient, invisible pace. Both forces, neglect and effort, grow in the dark, unnoticed, on the exact same schedule. The only real difference between the two futures currently waiting for you is which one you've quietly been feeding tonight and last night and every night before that. 5. You will want proof before you commit, and life will never give it to you in that order. You are going to want proof before you commit. Some sign, some early result, some small confirmation that all this effort is actually going somewhere, and you're not just wasting a season of your life on nothing. And life is almost never going to give it to you in that order. That's the part nobody warns you about going in, the part that makes so many people quit right when they're closest. You don't get the certainty first and then decide to try. You do the work for a long stretch of time, With no visible evidence it's working, no applause, no scoreboard, and the proof arrives late, usually all at once, looking to everyone else like an overnight success, when you know exactly how many quiet, unnoticed nights it actually took to get there. This is why patience gets so badly misunderstood. People picture it as passive, as sitting back, waiting, letting time do the work while you do nothing at all. It's the opposite. Patience is the most aggressive form of confidence there is, because it means you're willing to keep paying a real price today for a result you cannot yet see, cannot yet measure, and cannot yet prove to anyone, including yourself. On the nights it would be so much easier to stop. That takes more nerve than any burst of motivation ever will. Motivation wants a receipt up front. Patience operates entirely on trust it hasn't been paid back for yet. And here is exactly where most people lose the whole game. Not at the start, when everything feels new and possible and the excitement is doing half the work for you, and not at the finish, when the results are obvious and easy to keep showing up for. They lose it in the middle season, the long, flat stretch where the effort feels identical to the effort of someone accomplishing absolutely nothing at all. From the outside, and even from the inside, the season right before the harvest looks exactly like the season where nothing is happening. The roots are moving underground where nobody can see them. The soil gives no visible sign of any of it. Most people dig it up right there, convinced they planted in the wrong place. Just weeks, sometimes days, before it would have finally broken the surface and made every quiet month worth it. 6. You are not behind, you are early. The truth underneath everything else I've said tonight is this: you are not behind. You are simply early in a process that hasn't finished proving you right yet. That distinction matters more than almost anything else I could tell you, because behind makes you want to quit, and early just asks you to keep going one more week. Most people never make it to the good part of their own story because they misdiagnose the middle of it as the ending. Close the book at the exact chapter where the hero is supposed to look like he's losing. Stop asking life for a bigger sign before you'll commit. You're already getting signs. They're just small, and you've been trained by everything around you to wait for something dramatic before you'll take them seriously. The slightly easier morning. The conversation that went a little better than the one before it. The version of you that didn't quit this time, even though quitting was sitting right there, easy and available and completely understandable. Those are the signs. Respect them the way you'd respect a bigger one. Most people are standing in front of overwhelming evidence that the process is actually working and calling it not enough yet, simply because it isn't loud, because it doesn't come with confetti attached. The future is not sitting somewhere out ahead of you, waiting patiently until you finally feel ready for it. It is being built right now, tonight, out of whatever you choose to do in the next 60 minutes after this ends. Not someday, not when the timing finally improves, not Monday when everything conveniently resets and feels like a clean start. Now, in the quiet, unwitnessed hour where nothing feels urgent and everything still counts more than you think it does. So don't wait for the dramatic turning point you've been picturing, the one with music behind it. There usually isn't one. There's just the ordinary evening you finally stopped waiting and did the small, unseen thing anyway. The call, the page, the honest hour. And one day, much further down the road than you'd like, you'll look back and realize that forgettable evening was the whole hinge the rest of your life quietly turned on. And you almost let it pass like every other evening before it. Let me bring this all the way home. Everything I've told you tonight fits in one sentence. The future is not waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for a Tuesday. An ordinary, unremarkable, completely unwitnessed Tuesday, where you do the small thing instead of the easy thing one more time than you feel like doing it. That's it. That's the whole secret. Every person who ever built something real eventually discovers for themselves, usually far too late to tell anyone who would actually listen, which is exactly why I'm telling you now, while you can still use it. You don't need a new year. You don't need a better mood, a cleaner slate, or one more piece of information before you're finally ready. Ready is a feeling, and feelings were never going to build your future. Actions were and always have been the entire time you were waiting for the feeling to show up first. The gym doesn't care that you're not inspired tonight. The page doesn't care that you're tired. The habit doesn't care that no one's watching, that no one will ever know, that you could skip it completely and nothing outside you would ever change. It only cares whether you showed up, and it keeps score in total silence for as long as it takes, without ever once complaining about the wait. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Not someday, not Monday, but in the next hour, while every word of this is still warm and before the ordinary weight of the evening talks you out of it. Go do the small, unseen thing you've been putting off. The call you've rehearsed a dozen times, the page you keep meaning to start, the workout you've talked yourself out of for 6 days running, the 5 minutes of honesty with yourself you've been avoiding because you already know what it's going to tell you. Do it quietly, expecting no applause, because the applause was never the point, and it never will be. The point was always the person you become in the doing, in the parts nobody else will ever see or hear about or give you credit for. You are not behind. You are early in a story that hasn't finished proving you right yet, no matter how long the quiet season has already lasted. And one day you're going to look back at this exact forgettable evening, this ordinary Tuesday with nothing special about it on the surface, and you're going to realize this was it. Not the dramatic moment, not the lucky break everyone else will assume it was, just the quiet decision to finally stop waiting and start while it still felt like it didn't matter. That decision is sitting in front of you right now, the way it has been sitting in front of you for longer than you'd like to admit. Don't let it wait one more day.